something that needed to be done. Yeah, that's right. But anyway, it's statutory, so I imagine Aaliyah's giving pictures. Just want to make sure that you. You need that equipment?
I'd like to welcome everyone here in attendance tonight. City of LaFayette City Council meeting, March 9th, 2026, 5:30 p.m. Central Standard Time here, Alpha Insurance Building. This time we'll ask each and every one, please bow your head. Gracious Heavenly Father, we come once again, thank you for the many blessings that thou hast in store for us. Father God, we ask you right now to lead us and guide us in the right direction, in the direction you have us to go. Father God, I ask you bless this city, bless this state, bless this country. Father God, I ask you bless this meeting that we're having tonight. Bless each citizen that represent the city of LaFayette. Bless their family while they're departed from here. And Father God, we won't fail to give you all the thanks and the praise. You will be praised. In Christ's name, amen and praise God. This time we do our pledge, please. Salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Make the seat. This time I ask our clerk for our roll call, please.
Councilwoman Milford, Councilman Langley,
Here.
Councilman Thomas, here, Councilwoman Story,
Here.
Councilwoman Williams, Mayor Vine.
Here. Reading of the minutes, February 23rd, 2026, my regular city council.
Motion we approve reading of the minutes, February 23rd, 26th, regular city council meeting.
Been properly motion to second the approval of the reading of the minutes, February 23rd, 2026, my regular city council minutes. Any discussion? If not, all in favor by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion. proclamation, I think, Executive Director, Ms. Hand, talk to us about that.
Good evening. Yes, I'm here for the Valley Haven LaFayette Day proclamation, which is scheduled for Saturday, April the 11th to take place in downtown. Chris Busby nor Craig Brown couldn't be here tonight, so they asked if I accept this proclamation on their behalf. So I am here to do so. They're very excited. This is the 30th year. It is a great event for downtown LaFayette and all of our residents and citizens to come together. So we are excited.
I also have a proclamation on that. City of LaFayette proclamation, 30th annual LaFayette Day for Valley Haven. Whereas Valley Haven School provides a valuable service to our area individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities. Whereas the whole community combines effort each year to support the Hike Bike Run for Valley Haven School. Whereas the annual Hike Bike Run is the most important fundraiser event for Valley Haven School each year. Whereas this is the 50th annual Hike Bike Run and the 30th annual LaFayette Day for Valley Haven. Therefore, we hereby proclaim the week of April the 5th through April 11th, 2026 as LaFayette Day for Valley Haven School in the city of LaFayette. We call upon all citizens of our city to join with thousands of other individuals in generosity, helping to provide the funds for support of our Valley Haven School. We ask everyone to please support LaFayette Day on Saturday, April 11th, and Hike Bike Run on Saturday, May 2nd.
I make a motion that we approve this proclamation for the 30th annual LaFayette Day for Valley Haven.
It's been a proper motion, seconded, to approve, Valley Haven LaFayette Day proclamation, 30th annual LaFayette Day for Valley Haven. Any discussion? Not all in favor by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion. Okay, downtown celebration for Peppers Academy and LaFayette High School basketball team. Ms. Deanna Hand, Executive Director of Main Street, and Mr. Jason Kelly.
So, we would like to propose hosting a downtown community celebration. Jason reached out to me and asked for assistance, in planning this incredible, event to honor the basketball seasons, of our two local school teams. This event will celebrate the student athletes and will allow us to come together and showcase the pride and spirit that make Lafayette so special. We are very excited for the Lafayette High School Bulldogs and their successful season, as well as Chambers Academy basketball team and their successful season. So we just wanted to propose an event for possibly March 26th, which is a Thursday evening from 5:30 until 7:30 downtown, just to close off the First Street Southeast and honor these basketball players, their coaches, and the team's accomplishments. We will also like to have just 3 to 4 food trucks to come in to allow everyone to gather and enjoy a downtown festive environment. And also this gives opportunity for community members to congratulate the players in person and to celebrate their achievement. I think that they all deserve this community recognition for us to celebrate as a town how special they are to us and how proud we are of their accomplishments.
I think you pretty much covered everything.
I was looking over this, then, if I'm not mistaken, the Chamber win the football as well?
They did.
So you want to invite, include that, since we have, I don't think we
We usually,
do something different.
they've had a football banquet, it's been so long, so I think let's just concentrate on basketball teams and, focus on the success and, for the basketball team, they won the state championship and for LaFayette High for their successful season, being runner-up, had the coaches have a few remarks and, I think it would be probably hard for the football team to all get together and come back too. So we'll just do the basketball teams if that's okay with you all. And I've talked to Coach Jason Allen and Coach Lewis. They are wanting us to do this and in full support, maybe have the band there and just have it as a community celebration to honor both schools together.
I don't know if we have a bank.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I said, I don't know if we have a bank.
Okay. First of all, I would like to congratulate, James Cadden and LaFayette High Schools officer. Secondly, I would like to make a motion that we go ahead and approve the downtown celebration for James Cadden and LaFayette High School basketball.
It's been probably motion second to approve downtown celebration for Chambers Academy, LaFayette High School basketball team for March the 26th, 2026.
And again, we will only set up on First Street Southeast, so not block off, Alabama Avenue, so it won't interfere with any bus transportation. It'll just be that one area, and we absolutely invite you all to congratulate them and say a few words as part of the program as well.
And that time was again 5:30 to 7:30.
Yes, sir. Okay, thank you.
We have any discussion? Not all in favor, by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion is carried. Okay, with that, department head, monthly report.
I have a, question for Chris, is he here, sir?
Who's that?
Chris Sanders.
Oh,
Hi,
okay.
Chris. So a lot of citizens, of course, we know we had some cold months in, well, January was kind of cold and February. So a lot of people was kind of, upset about the high utility bill. Can you just kind of explain why it was high? So that way.
Yeah, so basically, I mean, your heat pump, if you're heating with, like, mid-county tunnels, total electric. When temperatures don't get out of freezing or high for the day, your heat pump works on a threshold of like 3 to 4 degrees before your heat strips kick on. And if you have it set up, a little bit high, which might be comfortable for you, but, if it's above 70 or whatever, that's just from what I've seen. Anything above 70, you start getting higher power bills because you're struggling. There's only a certain percentage of degree that a heat pump can work compared to the outside temperature without the heat strips kicking on.
Okay, and we did not have an increase in our utility costs.
No, ma'am, not at all.
Thank you.
Matter of fact, we're probably one of the cheapest in the state.
Thank you. I also have a question for Mr. Harrington. Do you have the count of how many violations you put on for abandoned cars in February?
About 21,
21?
and 5 of them have been moved already.
5 been moved? And the last question I have is for Superintendent Green. I know we're about to be ready for baseball season. Do we have the baseball field ready to start the season?
I met with some of the members, good evening, Mayor, Councilwoman. I met with some of the, volunteers late last week. They gave me a list of things that they wanted to, try to get done right before the season started, so I did put some of that stuff in place. They were saying they're gonna try to get a lot of it done, so that's where we're at now. We also looking at some improvements on the smaller fields simply because the dugouts, is beginning to deteriorate. We get some estimates done on that because if we don't kind of do some work on it, it'll kind of like laying down in the dugout. So a lot of it we have got done, and a lot of the volunteers is gonna try to do whoever volunteering in the rec department.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, George, while we ask, what's the status on that, trailer park in MLK? Is it finished that up, or?
Yes, I'd like to mention that. The status on the trailer park was something, when I talked to Ms. Holloway a while back, I was hoping to do that within maybe a few months. It's been even a little bit longer than that, but I will make contact with him in the next couple of days and she can be in the clerk, get some ideas about, what his future plans is. So that probably be the best route to just have a sit down, go over some work and stuff. But I will check on that, and report that.
I think that's why department head. Good announcement, City of LaFayette Comprehensive Plan Meeting, March 10th, 2026 at 5:30 p.m. here at the Farmers Federation Building. Corey, do you have anything to add to that? Just me? Okay. The announcement, the grand opening of LaFayette Collision, 208 First Street Southwest, here in LaFayette, March 27th, 2026 at 11 a.m. Should be a new business river.
Ma'am, who's doing the river cut?
It's in your packet, it's hosted by LaFayette Main Street, they're a Main Street business.
So what happened with, Chambers of Commerce coming up? It
It depends on what, you mind if I correct you? It depends on what membership, if they're not a member of the Chamber of Commerce, then the Chamber of Commerce doesn't host ribbon cutting.
So who determines that? Who made that group?
The business selects who they join membership with. The business owners select that.
Okay, thank you.
Dave Mack, Chambers County Detention.
Mayor and council, this is kind of a lingering issue. I believe the sheriff brought this by, contract by either around the first of the year, just something about right this, for the city of LaFayette to look at. He presented us, the sheriff presented the city of LaFayette with an agreement concerning housing of prisoners in the county jail. Historically, it has been sort of an informal agreement. The county and all the municipalities within the city went to the unified judicial system and consolidated all city courts, county courts, etc. before I came back to practice law. Now, I can't give you a specific date, but I think it was somewhere in the early 80s. Because my mother was actually the city judge for the city of Valley for a time. And then before I came back to practice, it was all consolidated. But it's always been an informal agreement, and we've always reimbursed the sheriff's department for the cost of housing the inmates at the same rate that the state provided them, if I remember right, which has been various amounts, but primarily just for feeding. The sheriff has actually given us a contract that sets out that agreement, defines what's a city inmate, what's a state inmate. And when I refer to a city inmate, that means someone's just charged with misdemeanor and not charged with felony. So if they're charged with a felony, they're technically a state inmate, whether they were arrested in the city or under the city's jurisdiction. It's for things like speeding tickets, it's things like DUIs. DUI is actually a state prosecution, but city ordinance prosecution. This agreement is not as specific on that particular point as I would like, because there are state level offenses like DUIs that could be made by the City of LaFayette Police Department. And I really think that's something that needs to be fleshed out. But the biggest thing that I noticed is it puts on the city a duty to reimburse Chambers County or Chambers County Sheriff's Department for the cost of the medical care of the inmate. That is not defined in here. The sheriff's department, the jailer, actually has an affirmative duty to provide that care for inmates that are within the county jail. That is a specific statutory provision. If we ran our own city jail, which we do not, then we would not be responsible for that. And the reason is that if the inmate themselves would be responsible if they're capable of paying. If they're not, then there is a duty on the local hospital to actually provide indigent services if someone's taken from the jail to the emergency room there. I want to make sure that we do some negotiation on this contract and make sure that we don't absorb any cost or duties that we don't need to. The sheriff has a legitimate concern. He doesn't want to pay bills for our inmates, and yet we don't want to pay bills that we wouldn't necessarily have to pay. So I need to see if we can find out if there's some way we can just claim, if it's a City of LaFayette inmate where we don't have to pay, the hospitals end up paying. And discuss those issues with the sheriff and see if we can get that done. This has been laying around a while and is still working under the informal agreement at this point. I don't know how many municipal inmates we may have, but that would be something I'd find out if the council would authorize me to actually interactive negotiations with the sheriff's department to try and work this out a little bit more to us. This agreement was drafted for the city of Valley. They're in a much different financial situation than we are. So I think we need to be much more careful with what liabilities we assume.
Look, before we give you permission to go into, negotiate with the sheriff. Chief, I don't know how, I know it was a certain way when I was chief, how if the prisoner was in there and we had to transport and all that, how does it work now?
The bill goes to the sheriff's office.
So that's what I'm saying, so they've been eating costs, so why now?
I remember reading newspaper accounts of significant issues with the cost of medical expenses coming out of the Chambers County Detention Facility. And that's probably, something the county commission may have pushed the sheriff for that, maybe the sheriff, I don't know. I haven't spoken directly to Sheriff Nelson, and nor have I approached anybody on the county commission. If I approach the county commission, I'll have to approach Attorney Patrol anyway.
Well, this time I would like to introduce a motion that we table this until the attorney get back with some legal information pertaining to this situation with the sheriff, Attorney County Sheriff.
Do we need, I guess, we need to kind of give him the opportunity. You want for us to give him the opportunity to negotiate, so.
Yeah, I mean, tabling is fine, as long as I have a directive from you, Mayor, I can go forth with that. I don't need the full council.
Okay.
Commission.
Let me proper motion second that we table the, contract, with the Chambers County Detention Facility. Give our city attorney to negotiate contract with, the sheriff department, possibly the Chambers County Commissioners. We have any discussion, any more discussion? Not out of favor, all in favor by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion approved. comprehensive water distribution rehab plan.
As you can see, I'm not calling sharp up here in this place tonight. Somewhere else he had to be. We put together two proposals in front of you. The first of which is a plan we're starting as kind of a half step in the right direction to give us some access to the water line under 431. Our hope is to tie in, basically put two isolation valves in front of Crave Corner and in front of Renfro's. So we have options moving forward. We're gonna try to do this before the Aldott paving starts. But we're hoping put together a plan and get multiple prices from different contractors locally. Keep it under the bid law and something that the city can negotiate directly and try to push this through before Aldott starts. So that's the first proposal you have from us. The second proposal is a 10-year comprehensive, water plan. We wanna look at the fire data we have now and some of the history and kind of try to put things in a priority state and put some budgets together on us moving forward.
So Mayor and Council, if we approve this tie-in, when do we plan on utilizing this tie-in? Is it within the next 30 days, the next year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years? Like if we commit to this project, when are we gonna start utilizing it? Well, fixing,
I think the actual plan was, correct me if I'm wrong, that would give us time to apply for more grants and more money to proceed on the project.
This will put us into step one of the comprehensive plan we put together. Whether that's a tie-on to these or not, we feel like this is the right move without Aldott coming in. Cause if we don't do this, later on, we have to go back to 431 and make these connections. These connections are critical to city infrastructure. You're gonna have to go back and dig these pipes up at some point. But you are putting in two valves and teeing off to get out from under the right of way. It'll be a significantly easier tie-in later for when we're gonna connect, beside Renfro's and connect to the tower in front of the, firehouse.
What about your connection on the back side of the courthouse, which we consider the front, where Joe Louis statue's at? What about that? How are you gonna deal with that down there?
We pushed it into, it'll be part of the comprehensive plan. You're gonna be jacking boring under the road, which we have to do anyways. So you'll be jacking boring from the side street that Allen Flowers is on. What we've discussed is you're gonna jack and bore from outside the right of way to outside the right of way.
So why would these valves be necessary if we're gonna have to jack and bore anyway?
Because so the master plan with that, getting into the comprehensive plan, what we've talked about is, do we have the option to turn off the water line from Renfro to Crave Corner under 430 and never tee back in front of the Joe Louis statue? We make an independent shot from the Allen Flower Street to the courthouse and never tee back in.
Any idea how much it would cost to jack and bore just that one location where the statue is?
I'd have to look at the distance,
They got 80-foot right away.
yes, sir, probably in the $400 to $500 a linear foot, depending on if we have to do it direct, depending on if they'll let us pull, if we have to do casings and stuff like that, it gets more expensive, which Aldott is in favor of usually. They make exceptions, but
Is there any way for us to break this into two different projects?
that's avoiding bid law, no. So this is literally like step 0.5. This is a half step in the right direction that beats Aldott, beats the timeline, and we don't have to bid.
But no, this will not improve
No,
water
this
quality.
changes nothing with water quality. It does give us an additional valve on each end of 431. If we have a break or something like that, there will be new valves that can be shut. But it gives us a little more isolation, which is a move in the right direction as well.
So what is, let's just kicks and giggles, let's say we start paving 431 North, and we start at the pavers. Do we just go in, dig it up, repair it, keep on trucking?
Yes. We try to isolate it wherever we can and minimize the water losses, and we dig it up and fix it, yes, sir.
And what would be step, if this is .5, what's step one?
Well, that's why we wanna put together the comprehensive plan and we're looking at crossing, trying to get the water from the east side of 431 to the west side. And then trying to put together some budget numbers and stuff. We have kind of what we think would be the best way to do that, but we want to kind of back that into budget numbers and see what risk we wanna take and what grants y'all are gonna apply for.
And how soon could you get us a project? Because grants are gonna start opening in April, is that right? Am I right about that?
I believe so. We can put together, so the comprehensive plan will give us kind of the first step into when we start looking at grants, where it's basically a line item, these are what we decided are the most critical, and here's the budget attached to it, what grant fits this. We do the exact same thing in the city of Roanoke with their streets. We did a street evaluation 4 or 5 years ago, and we have a sheet with like 18 streets on it. And it was evaluated what we wanna do and the budgets, and when they call us about grant stuff, we go, this one fit your grant.
All right, I'm gonna put you in the hot seat, man.
Right?
If we approve this tonight, can you come up with us a project that we can hopefully get set up and start looking at this funding where we don't waste another year of not getting anything done with this water project? Because if we don't, then we're gonna be looking at 2027 before we have actually.
And we can put together the comprehensive plan probably by the end of this month.
Also, could you also include in the comprehensive plan, someone to do a study from the lake back coming toward town, to try to find out where the muddy water coming from, because fixing the pipes on 431 downtown is not gonna stop muddy water from coming.
You're getting it back into the chemistry of the plant, we can talk about it, and I'll take a look at it, but you might be getting further, you might be stepping out of the scope of this project.
So would
is
you
what I'm
agree,
concerned.
would you agree with me on that? I mean, as far as fixing the muddy water problem, getting to the bottom of the problem?
I think we have it in all the pipes, and when it goes to the water towers and it comes back, because the pumps only run certain periods of the day, it's moving back and forth through all of those pipes. We have a source problem, yes, but it's also in the pipes.
So you're still connecting new pipes to old pipes, so it don't continue to be in there.
We're gonna do that everywhere. Until we replace every old pipe, you're doing that, yes, sir.
Mr. Garrett,
Yes, sir.
would you agree with Mr. Harmon's assessment of that as far as the dirty water?
Yes, sir, absolutely. I think it's more about the sediment that's in the old pipes than it is coming from the filter plant, though. I can go over a hydrant from the filter plant, and she's got the pump running, it's crystal clear. You go out night time, open up a hydrant, it has color to the tin.
So that's the water pressure coming out of the tanks.
Coming out of the tank back toward her plant, yes.
I guess the biggest thing I would like, looking over this thing for the last couple of weeks, kind of give a little input for my own superintendent. I would like for our superintendent to be included in this as well, just in case.
Yes, for the comprehensive
He would have
plan,
an idea of anything goes wrong,
we can review this comprehensive plan once we put it together, and he can help us put the order of priorities together, how about that?
Yes, sir.
We'll do the budget side of it, and that'll give us all a look at it, an unbiased look at the level report.
You have a problem with that, Mr.
No, sir, not at all. Thank you.
As far as the grant goes, that's up to us.
Yeah, we're done with grants.
So are we prepared to go after grants within the next, and we're starting in April? Mayor and council?
You don't have a choice.
I know we don't have a choice, but like, are we in agreement that that's what we're gonna do? That's our plan as mayor and council, to start going after these grants.
This time, I would like to go ahead and entertain a motion to go ahead and move forward with the Highway 431 water line tank proposal, also the 10-year comprehensive water distribution rehab.
Been properly motion and second that we forward with the Highway 431 water line tie-in proposal, the comprehensive water distribution rehab plan. Do you have any discussion? Any more discussion? Now we ask our clerk for a roll call, please.
Councilman Langley,
Yes.
Councilman Thomas,
Yes.
Councilwoman Story,
Yes.
Councilwoman Williams, Mayor Vine.
Yes.
Go ahead and authorize the mayor to execute those contracts once they get prepared and review them.
I make a motion to go ahead and authorize the mayor to go ahead and sign off on those contracts.
Second.
Been proper motion and second that. Give the mayor orders to, go ahead and sign, execute these contract, these two contracts. From PE Harmony Engineering. Any discussion? Nine. Roll call.
Councilman Langley, Councilman Thomas,
Yes.
Councilwoman Story,
Yes.
Councilwoman Williams, Mayor Vine.
Yes. Okay, Finance Committee Chairman, Councilman Kim Langley, Electric Department.
Good evening, Mayor Council, citizens. You're looking in front of you, I passed you out a paper earlier that gives you the pay scale for the LaFayette Police Department. The LaFayette Police Department and the electrical department have been working for over a year with new staff, trying to get themselves a raise. And I felt like tonight we'd bring that before us and at least look at these numbers and, talk about them a little them a little bit. If you're looking at the police pay, you'll see that we're moving 2 officers to salary. That's in an effort to try to get rid of some overtime. And then we're increasing pay on all the officers to kind of bring us in line with other municipalities in our area, where hopefully we can retain better officers, recruit better officers, and have less turnover. Really, it's the same situation with the electric department. Like I said, they've been operating for a year with low staff, in an effort to get a pay raise. Second page will show you the increases we're talking about. And I'm gonna leave it up to the mayor and council tonight if y'all wanna move forward with this, or if you wanna review it, and then we come back to it at the next council meeting. But I feel strongly we need to go ahead and do this. We're gonna lose some of these qualified people if we don't start to work on this salary.
Councilman Langley, have you done the rest of the employees, the city employees?
Lewis is working on that. We've got a format that we're working with. As soon as Lewis can give me that, hopefully within the next council meeting, we come back and address them.
Do you not agree that it would be best for us to give everybody a raise at the same time?
Councilwoman Williams, if these people had been working for a whole year trying to get a raise, I would say yes. If these people have really worked hard, really poured their guts into this, and, other departments had this opportunity, they did not take it. And I'm not throwing off on them, they all do a fine job, but I just think we need to go ahead and move forward with this and get this behind us.
Well, I agree that everybody needs a raise, but I look at that street department,
I
that
agree.
they are the lowest paid in the city.
They are, and we fully intend to circle back to them, we're not leaving. I spoke to George, and I told George, well, we're trying to slide in, but these people have been working, covering for 5 and 6 people or more, and it's just not fair to keep holding them hostage.
What, Councilman, do you think that, we could wait till the next council meeting to go ahead and have the street department included also, so we can do everybody together? That give us time,
Where's Lewis?
and that give us time to
You
look
think we
over.
have time to pull?
So I do want to clarify something that I have a concern about as far as what we're talking about. So you have 2 things. You have one, the police and electric department are rearranging the number of people they have and turning people into salary, and it will not change their overall budget number. So now when we're talking about adding different departments, yeah, it's easy to wait on me to do it, but what we're doing is agreeing to basically increase a budget on a budget that we don't even really have right now because it's a deficit budget. So my concern is that if we're talking about doing other departments, and that's gonna increase the total budget, then we really need to handle the entire budget and get that budget balanced before we start talking about pay raises that are gonna increase, because we don't really know if we can even afford them if we have not balanced the budget yet. So that's my biggest concern.
But these budget numbers, we're
No.
not.
I'm just talking about when you mentioned waiting on me about the
Yes.
street department.
Yes.
And other departments,
Yeah.
those are gonna
Right,
be an
okay.
increase to the overall budget.
These will not.
I understand what you're saying, but as far as the morale, I'm just not, it's gonna make the street department guys doing something bad, they already, the co-poles, everybody else already making more money than they're making, and then
How do
that's
you
another
think-
slap in the face there.
Not to go back and forth, but how do you think the electric department feels when they've been covered?
Well, I understand that, like I said, but you gotta understand too, these guys out there every day, in the hot, in the cold, in the sun, and I sign some of these checks, and I see what,
I do too.
I wouldn't be out there, to be honest with you. But, they definitely need a raise. I mean, whatever we got to do to get that street department a raise, those guys deserve it, as well as everybody else. I'm not saying everybody else don't deserve a raise, but they deserve a raise as well. And I understand what you're saying about the budget.
And I wanna clarify, I'm not saying not give them a raise.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is I think they really need to take care of the budget.
I understand what you're saying.
Well, just keep in mind, this has been a year. It's been going on a year.
Do you think you could possibly go ahead, since you over the budget, go ahead and get something going on with the budget?
Lewis and I have been working diligently on that budget, I can assure you, we have. And have.
That's my concern.
Also, I want to make a note that we did have a work session around this budget on Thursday. But we didn't have input from majority of the council, so I guess that's why we're here now. Because we was trying to get it worked out, but we didn't have a lot of input from council.
Clerk, did you send that email out?
Okay.
Did
Yeah,
you
see,
send,
he
did you send
said
an
he
email
would.
out about her fee? Councilman Stover fee, did you send an email?
No, this was, Councilman Langley's, meeting. I didn't send out anything about Councilwoman Storage request because no one ever replied back.
Exactly. But we did meet on Thursday.
We did meet on
It was
Thursday, that's
pertaining to
budget.
the budget.
But anyway, again, let's go ahead and look at the budget.
Okay, I make a motion that we table this until, can we go ahead and put a work session on schedule for this budget?
I need to wait.
Make a motion to table or?
Yeah, the motion table, go ahead and deal with that. And then, you don't want to string this from out.
I make a motion that we table this until next council meeting.
So, motion to take. Have a second.
I would like that until we get the budget passed, or everybody can agree with that same thing. I would like to add that also.
She needs to.
She got a motion for the table.
I make a motion that we table this until we get the budget finalized.
Second.
The proper motion second, table, pay raise till we look at the budget line item, get a budget together, to look at these increases for all the departments. We have a discussion. Not all in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Motion approved.
Now I would like to, see if we can get a work session scheduled for this budget. And I would like for every mayor and council to attend and we get it done. Like, we don't keep pushing it off. I know Councilman Langley is the chairperson, but this, it needs to be collected from all of us.
proposed garbage rate discussion that you, man?
I asked to put this on the agenda because we executed a new contract with 121, and I believe they started picking up carts this Friday. So, I think we had a little bit of difficulty getting the cart swapped out, but I think that's calmed down a little bit. There are a couple of things, 2 or 3 things I want to point out about the new contract, and things I think need to be addressed. The contract rate was previously $12.66 with Waste Management. The new contract is $13.87, that's a per cart. So that's an increase of roughly $1.17 per cart. And of course, that leads me to, well, we were currently, whatever the garbage rate is, $26 a day, $26 a month. There's no adjustment within our garbage rate ordinance or resolution that allows for an automatic increase because of the underlying contract increase. Because there were 3 original components to that contract. The first was the per cart contract amount, and then there was the street department's amount for the limb truck and for the operation of the limb truck. And then there was administrative costs for City Hall to send out the bills and deal with paying the third-party contractor. So there are several parts to that. My understanding, the street department has a significant increase in cost, having to replace the old limb truck in the last year or 2, as well as, so often they're running both limb trucks. The street department has also done some things to reduce costs, but costs continue to rise. So at this point, I think the council really needs to consider the budget that can be done. And these figures can be looked at as part of the street department's budget and the administrative budget of the city, and try and get those rates and give us a number to adjust to. But there's an additional couple of matters in the new contract I wanted to address as well. An extra cart has its own charge. I sent an email out and I suggested that there needs to be a charge for the additional cart. Say if someone needs 2 carts, that we authorize City Hall to charge X number of dollars for that extra cart. Also in the contract was light industrial, light commercial customers in the city are now allowed to participate at the residential rates. City Hall at this point is not comfortable with the old ordinance, and would like some guidance from the city council on allowing light commercial customers as defined by the contract to be allowed to sign up and participate in garbage collection services by 121. I don't think that requires a change to the ordinance. We provided the last time we changed the garbage rate ordinance that we could adjust the rates by resolution as opposed by ordinance. My thoughts are there is that this council allow light commercial customers that are eligible under the 121 contract to sign up for garbage collection at the same rate as residential customers through the city.
Where are those cans gonna go?
Well, it depends on where they are. Some of the offices and things like that will be picked up by 121. So like, there are businesses that have street access, and there are others that don't. Well, you got the same problem with dumpsters. The dumpsters still have to be picked up by truck, and they have to be put on the street. They don't need to be put on the sidewalk. None of them need to be put on the sidewalk. They need to be on the city right away where the trucks can get to. Because otherwise, right now, some of these small industries are having to have 2 or 3 yard dumpster, which takes up about 4 times the space as one of these small cans. And that doesn't work well downtown in a lot of places. It also doesn't work in some other areas. Restaurants are excluded from that because of the amount of garbage that they produce. And a light industrial customer he's defined by, they don't generate any more municipal solid waste than fit in one more cans. In this case, we need to limit it to 2 cans, just like they do.
Well, that was my question, how are we gonna determine from?
I just think this council needs to do that and say, that most any customer can have is 2 cans. I don't know of anybody that's got 3. One of the other things is Waste Management actually did can pickup services prior to this, and they're not providing that service anymore for the smaller industrial.
They pick up all the cans?
Ma'am,
Did Waste Management pick up all the cans here?
as far as I know, they have. They made another run at the end of this week, or they're making another run into this week.
They still have some.
They're still-
There is some more.
I saw an email where they said they were coming back through,
Yeah,
was
they
it
still-
last week or this week?
It's still working.
Still waiting? They're gonna donate them to the households they're at?
So I wanna go back to the first portion you mentioned about the rate changes. At the last council meeting, we had someone to get up and ask about that, and we stated that not necessarily that they would not see an increase, but it composed of different items within that rate
That's right.
on their utility.
I was present when that question, I believe, was presented. And what the question was the contract was granted to the low bidder,
Right.
and it was. And then the customer also asked whether there was gonna be a rate change, and then that's when I went into the same explanation as what's on here. And then there have been some other I had some other conversations with the principals involved after that conversation. And that led me to go ahead and draft this email that I sent to everybody and go ahead and have this presentation done. One, because of the clarification of the light commercial users, and 2, to go ahead and get the rate, discussion present, in front of the council, for later consideration, I'm sure. I wouldn't expect anybody to make a decision today, I just wanted to get that conversation started, especially for the budget season. I mean, it could be part of the budget equation.
So there's a possibility that our resident will see an increase.
Well, that's up to the council, but then it is. It's up to the council to pass that increase through or not. There was some discussion with some of the other, personnel involved in this process. There are other costs associated with that bill that have increased as well. So, I think it's important that the city pay attention to these things. We let the garbage go on for about 15 years before we raised the rate. When we raised it 3 years ago, and costs have continued to increase during that time. And our rate does have a built-in CPI increase, but it's not enough to cover the increased costs that we've had from my discussions that I've had thus far.
So we're talking about two different things, a rate increase on just regular garbage and then a rate increase on curbside pickup on Georgia Street and truck.
No, it's all the same thing.
Oh,
They're all 3 components of the same charge. The components of the charge are 1, what we have to pay a third-party contractor. 2, what the street department does outside of that contract, which is all the grass clippings, the weeds, the construction debris, technically picking up litter off the side of the road. All those are things the city provides. And then you've got the third component, which is the administrative component that City Hall actually handles.
but we are not supposed to be picking up, construction.
You can, but you cannot, it has to be taken down. Construction debris done by a homeowner, not by a contractor.
So Mayor and Council, if we do decide to do this increase, we give our citizens ample enough time to prepare for this increase, if we do decide this. Whether that's 30 days or, I don't know how many days, but we do need to give them preparation before we do this increase.
And that's all I have. Any more questions?
That's right. I would like to, municipal insurance corporation, voting delegate, 2006 annual business meeting, the Alabama League Convention.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I think if you remember a couple of meetings ago, we actually approved delegates. So for the new council members, just kind of want to explain that really quick. That was for the Alabama League of Municipalities business meeting. Also during the conference, you're gonna have the AMIC business meeting. So this is what we're voting on now, a voting delegate, a first alternate, and a second alternate to attend the AMIC business meeting.
Are these meeting in conjunction with the other meeting
It's
last
at,
time?
it's at the same conference, but it's not at the same time.
Okay, that's fine.
And I was looking on my phone to try to pull up the minutes from the other meeting, and I was going through my emails and I couldn't find it, because I was trying to see who all,
The mayor.
voted first.
And these two.
Vote delegate
Yeah.
first and second, so that would be the most simple way to do it. Keep it the same.
I make a motion to keep the same.
Motion second, to keep the, voting delegate for AMIC meeting the same as the other meeting, in the same session, the Alabama League Convention, April 28th through May 1st. Any discussion? Not all in favor by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion approved.
And then, approving the President Sean Duke's proxy, that's only in the event, say for whatever reason, the voting delegate, first alternate and the second alternate cannot make the meeting at the last minute, then this is to approve Sean Duke to serve as proxy for the city of LaFayette.
I made that motion. That we, authorize Sean Duke, President, and I see the vote on behalf of the city, cast a ballot on the ballot form.
Second.
Been properly motion to second, to allow Mr. Sean Duke, President, AMIC, to vote on behalf of the city, or cast ballots in the ballot packet. Any discussion? Not all in favor by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion approved. Okay, hearing the petitions, application, complaints, period of communication. Councilman.
Just want to congratulate LaFayette High School and thank Kevin's basketball team for a great season. One other thing, Chief, I'm getting some calls about speeding on B Street.
He's reading.
B Street, yes. Let me ask you that.
Councilman Thompson.
Yes, I would like to piggyback right off what, Councilman Langley said. Congratulations, Chambers Academy, Lafayette High Bulldogs, on a great season. Next year, we're gonna do it again. We're gonna take the whole thing.
Hey, you gonna hold me to that. Councilman Shirley.
Yes, I have two things, well, three things, actually. The baby board, do we have one? We do? A baby board, do we have one?
Isn't that,
There's one under the dilapidated property, if I remember right. There's not an abatement board for personal property, and there's not one. The three ordinances, we have, weed and grass doesn't have any zoning board. The derelict, real estate, or dilapidated real estate, they have to have a recommendation, to go forward.
Right, how,
Yeah.
Yes, we should have one.
Yeah, I just think it ran through, is it,
We have a board.
okay, well,
Yeah, we have.
how was it listed on the list of boards you gave us? How was it listed on that? Cause I didn't see it on that.
Municipal Housing Code Abatement Board.
Okay. Have we, is it active, are they meeting, or can we get an email out to them, or a phone call to make sure, or is it called?
I can probably help more with the procedure, the way that works. I don't know who's on it right now, but the way it has been in the past is, I'll tell you his last name. Tate is gonna, he'd end up getting a list of dilapidated properties to present to the abatement board, and they would tell him whether or not to go forward with, the abatement process. And the last time we did it, we went through the full order of things, but we didn't have enough money budgeted to tear down most of the houses we declared dilapidated. So we've got a funding problem to go with the abatement. So that needs to be addressed. We can declare them dilapidated all we want to, but if we can enforce it by tearing them down, then we're not accomplishing much. So the process, that was the last time he got arrested. I believe Mr. Langley was the one that presented it. And he was the enforcement officer at that time. And then we just couldn't find enough money to actually get rid of most of the structures.
Of course, in Ryan, or him the other day, I saw where the people came and said they were gonna fix it. They had to take it.
I mean, yeah, a lot of them are just recycled from the previous time.
So I noticed in our ordinance, it doesn't give a, like if someone, if, say, Mr. Harrington goes to someone's house and he tells them that, you know, you're in violation, and they tell him, well, I'm fixing it. Like our ordinance doesn't give a, you know, like a timeline for them to have it fixed or have some type of movement on the property.
No, at one time, many moons ago, we would actually just table the resolutions and bring them back up before the council to see whether or not they did anything. So we generally put it off for 30 days and revisit the resolutions when it got that far. But that was the way we dealt with that in the past, because it
I
does
think we'd like to come up with a better solution, but go ahead, Clerk.
Well, we do have a timeframe. The ordinance, is supposed to come before the Housing Code Abatement Board, who then gives it to the officer who currently is, Mr. Harrington. And then he has a procedure that he goes through where he has to send letters out, and then we tell them, like, I think it's 60 days maybe. We'll have a public hearing 60 days after that. So then they are supposed to come to the public hearing, we, you know, the mayor and council, you hear whatever their argument is, and then during the council meeting, you decide whether or not you are going to, declare dilapidated. And if you declare it dilapidated, then the city can go ahead and move forward and tear it down. So there's really, there's definitely a process in place, and there's a time frame in place. They just can't tell the code enforcement officer, hey, I'm working on it. When the mayor and council actually vote at that council meeting, then it can be torn down. And as Attorney Tucker was saying, the problem then became being able to afford to tear it down. But there's definitely a time frame.
Okay. So right now, we can't afford to tear down the houses.
Well, I don't know what the budget looks like, but that, I don't know how much is in there for that, but that's something to be discussed at budget meeting. But, and to supplement what the clerk said, the procedure I was talking about, when we got to the council meeting, most of these people wouldn't make contact until that 60 days was up. And then they would be calling and go, give me 30 days or something like that, and we would give additional time, and they said they were fixing it at that point by tabling the resolution and revisiting them later.
And just as the mayor just said, he actually just had a conversation today about trying to work on changing the process that we're using to make it more user-friendly for the city and more likely that we can actually afford to be able to tear properties down.
We have to have some results. We have to do it, so 60 days, game over, there. And that's kind of what's going on.
And just one more thing to add there. There is a way to recoup some funds by foreclosing on the property. procedure itself is not cheap.
The last thing is well, no, it's not the last thing, but my next thing is the animal control ordinance. Like, we really need to do something. I myself was riding my bike this weekend and a dog came after me, but of course I had some pepper spray to spray the dog off, but we really need to either revise our ordinance and put it in there to where that our citizens can have only a certain amount of dogs, or do something different with the dogs that are running wild in the city. The last thing is that, Mr. Harrison, we're trying to get him, but I was hoping that he could get into the business license course that's supposed to be happening in April. We still haven't made a decision on that, and I feel like if we do not make a decision, if he has to go somewhere else, if we send someone else somewhere else, it's gonna cost the city way more money than sending him to Auburn. And that's all that I have.
I'm glad we came to the conclusion of what we was gonna say, Ken as well.
Where are you?
So we send a Ken and not Mr. Harrison? Oh, that man.
Ken will be in the building and tell you if you're down the street.
Oh, no one replied to my email, so I didn't see that. So, thank you. It wasn't communicated to me that we were sending Ken and Mr. Harrison.
But I guess I'd be saying, is that one?
I have to let the clerk elaborate a little bit more on Ken, his employee.
Can you elaborate first?
As far as,
Ken and Tay both go into take business class, but
I think the last discussion I had, my thing is, and I'll say it again, is we're talking about sending employees to classes for additional duties, and I think that's a executive discussion on pay. But, I mean, as far as like going to classes, I mean, I don't have anything against it. I did express to the mayor that, if they were gonna send an employee from City Hall, then that employee actually can be expected to actually be out in the field all the time.
Right.
They're working inside the City Hall.
Right.
But that's the only thing I thought that, I just always like to have everyone on the same page at the very beginning, and to get down the line and then talk about any potential increase in pay after the fact, to me was kind of backwards.
So there's no issue with sending them there to get the training, it's just that once they get the training, if they start doing the duties of their job, we need to discuss pay.
can we touch on that first tonight?
Well, I think Mr. Harrison, would you be willing to?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Harrison. That's all, thank you.
Let's go to, audit council.
We have claims in amount of $676,897.71.
Make a motion to pass the bill.
Been proper motion second, this thing coming from our clerk, our revenue account, about $676,897.71. Any discussion?
Maybe it's asking for us to get a list of what that is, versus just saying, we're approving it, but we don't know what we're approving. I mean, I know it's a pain, but
No,
I would like to know.
I'll do a printout.
Thanks.
Yeah, look at it, take the time.
Yeah, I'd just like to know.
Well, let's see how it's time today.
Mr. Davis, you'll put in our package each council, thank you.
You have any more discussion? All in favor by saying aye? Any opposed? Motion. Okay, we're down now to our public comments.
Hey, my name is Paul Nunn. I'd like to say good evening to the council, mayor, and citizens. Listen, I just got a couple of comments on the water project that I think, I would like the city council and the citizens to consider. The first thing is that I was looking at the, financial information that was passed out last time. The water department is a economic engine for the city, right? But if you look at the operational margins for the water department over the last 5 years, it's about -0.8%, which means that it's not making any money. If you take out the grants from that, we're at -60% operating margin. And our rate of increase will never catch up with that. One of the things I'm recommending is that, and this is for all business, is that we go and understand what our operational costs are really going towards with this plan. And the reason for that is that as an economic engine, it should be driving at least a profit for the city across the year. The other thing that we need to understand is how much are our losses in this operation. For example, how much water are we processing versus how much water are we billing? And if the gallons of processing is way up here and the gallons that we're billing are way down here, that's loss. It's loss in chemicals, loss in electricity, a loss in the whole thing. I want the council to put forth a comprehensive look at that operation, right? Because one of the things is we need to understand where we can drive costs to zero, potentially saving hundreds of thousands of dollars in operation. The other thing is that if we look at the grants, right? Over the last 5 years that were posted, we get about $197,000 annually on average. One of the things that was said in the meeting is that to do the entire project may be $10 million. At $197,000, that's 50 years. And with that, I want to present this to the council. This is about 20 sources of funding. And what I'm recommending is that the council and the city work on producing a statement of need or a statement of work which describes what our issues are, what we're working towards, contains the engineering reports, and we go sell that to these 20 or so entities, which all of them may grant us something, but I think it's gonna be a lot better than trying to do $300,000 a year. We do that as a blitz, and we call our Congress people the whole 9 yards. That's all I have.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. There's been a lot of talk about a budget. Which budget are we talking about? What year we talking about? October the 1st of 2025 to September the 30th of 2026?
No, we're talking about 2024. No, the 25, that's right.
October the 1st of 2025
So
to
we'll
September
have
30th, 2026. So we should have had a budget October the 1st. Okay. Just wanted to clarify that.
I wasn't in office then.
I know, a lot of y'all, I mean, it's pretty much even who was in office and who wasn't in office. Everybody knows that. I just wanted to make the point because I was kind of confused. The abatement board, if I'm mistaken, please correct me, Kim, because I know you know this. In September of 2024, there were 22 properties, and there was a whole bunch of people here that night. Was that September 2024?
This part, I'm not sure if that's down pretty close.
Okay, 22 properties which were tabled for no further meeting. It was just tabled into infinity, right? Okay. All right. Garbage. Lewis, I've mentioned this to you multiple times. On Drake Avenue, there's a commercial dumpster serving residential apartments. That's the only place that I can think of in the city where that takes place. So those apartments probably need cans instead of a commercial dumpster in a residential area, my thought. And the elephant in the room. I said 2 weeks ago, if everybody got a raise that works for the city, it's not a raise, it's a catch-up. So let's at least catch everybody up that's been over 3 years. Please, let's do it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gordon.
Ben Council, Nell Finley. I have two questions. One is about the garbage, waste management to 121. And I did ask the question last time, if there's gonna be a decrease because we hit it on the low bid, we accepted the low bid, right? So tonight we're hearing that there's gonna be an increase in garbage to the citizens, right? That what I hear, I really can't hear a lot back there, but I think that's what I heard, right? And you also said that you were going to, allow industrial and commercial customers the same rate as the citizens.
No, that's not what I said. Light commercial, whose garbage will fit in a can, or so the current contract.
Can you say that again?
Light commercial businesses whose garbage is solid municipal waste and will fit in a single can and not in the business of preparing food for resale.
And do you, Mayor and Council, do you draw into consideration, would you consider your citizens over your businesses and not let the increase go to your citizens, but allow the increase to go to your businesses? Do you think it'd be fair to increase citizens?
Currently, the commercial customers are not paying anything to the city. So at this point, what I discussed up there today for light commercials would actually add them to the rolls, and they would actually share in the garbage fees.
So if they have not been paying anything, if they're starting to pay, would that prevent you from running from the citizens? If they have not been paying, they're gonna start paying.
There's
now.
not enough revenue. I haven't done that analysis, but at this point, I answered your question, but what you're getting into is almost an argumentative, so.
No, it's not, every time I stand, it's an argument, but I'm here representing how I feel, and my question is, you do deserve an answer, so if that's the answer, I'll accept it. The other thing is, the last time I was here, I came before and asked about, perpetual care, and I would like to know who is on the cemetery committee from the meeting council? Who makes up the committee? You?
Me,
Yeah. Are there any citizens that represent or work with anything with the cemetery to make recommendations or anything?
we have, so we have had 2 meetings and, we open it to the public to come and speak. Right now, not many people from the public come except 2 or 3 people.
I mean, I noticed that with all of your departments and your committees, you have a community committee that works along with everything, regulation and all that. They're committees that are appointed from each district, so why is there not one appointed from each district to represent the cemetery committee?
That's a good question. I don't have an answer for that.
Okay, so this question is to the mayor and council, and I asked about what perpetual care is, and Mr. Green is allowed to answer that. And he said that we pay $550 for a grave, and his comment was that we pay $100 for the grave, then we have $450 for perpetual care. So with that statement, and people hearing, they wanna know now, can I just go out there and buy a grave for $100 and do my own perpetual care?
The ordinance doesn't allow that.
Pardon me?
The ordinance does not allow that.
Okay, so the ordinance says that you're supposed to be doing what he says he's doing, but it's not.
That's argument.
Okay, so I just like to say that I am not here, I always come with what I think is constructive and what I think is important for citizens to know, and what I think is fair and what is right for us to know in the question that I ask, and I really character, so I apologize to you if you feel like I attacked your character, but I do feel like we deserve answers. And if other citizens of LaFayette, like I say, we all get together, the cemetery's been out there for years, and it seems like all this stuff is still happening. And the perpetual care means that we get what it says in the ordinance, I don't know when it's gonna start. I'm serious, I really do wanna know, because if you're paying for something and it's not happening, then why do we pay? And I was also told that when, you know, you have the money sitting there in perpetual care, not only just me, every one of y'all may have somebody there out there that you get that, you pay the money that they ask to pay, and the perpetual care money is sitting there. So why are we not being used if you have enough perpetual care on hand to do things out there, but cut grass and plant grass and move old flowers and stuff like that? You got people, you ask for a raise for the people on the street. I have pictures where cemetery flowers have blown out of the cemetery and be beside the road, and some out there right now. I'm in favor for everybody getting paid for what they do, for what they do. If I go to my job and didn't do some of the things that's in my job assigned him, I wouldn't be getting paid every day. Somebody write me up, or somebody wonder why I didn't do it. There was a time when the street committee came down our streets, and they would, the grass that growed up beside the sidewalks. Many times I've had the police officer come to my house because my neighbor argued about grass being left beside the road. We don't see that happening anymore. That grass didn't grow upside the road like it's growing out now. And yes, I live on B Street. And the speeding on B Street is terrible, and it needs to be addressed. We've had a young man that got hit on B Street because somebody was speeding. And we don't want that to happen on our street, not in any street in LaFayette anymore. But I appreciate y'all's time, and I'm gonna keep coming with my concerns. And I hope that I get some answers that you don't think I'm threatening on being biased or anything like that. Just trying to get my answers. Because I live in the city, and I love LaFayette. And I really respect you guys, and I support you guys. But I feel like I deserve the same thing.
Thank you, Ms. Fanning.
I just want to provide some feedback and say thank you all for the improvement in communication that we've seen. I really do thank Andy Chamblee, who's done a fantastic job at communicating when city council meetings are, and different city announcements. The trash information was really good for all of us as residents to know pickup dates, and the plan that was in place. So I think that, you know, that came about with a lot of the feedback and suggestions that we got at the comprehensive meetings. So I continue to urge the citizens of LaFayette to attend those comprehensive meetings, because that's where that feedback has really been beneficial for us to make improvements as a city. So I just want to say thank you for the better communication and the transparency that's been provided to us as citizens. And I'm hoping to see even more, you know, some of these committee meetings, some of the other announcements that we have taken place. I hope to see that streamline of communication continue to improve. So thank you all.
Okay, resolution, orders of the business, convey transfer cemetery deeds, number 1834. D, convey transfer cemetery deeds.